Good morning. Morning. Hope everybody's doing well. Test. That's better. That's better. I always jack up the sound. So I guess this morning we could start with Bitcoin. That means we have to finish with Bitcoin, but excuse me. So let's go out to the daily real quick. And I mean, just I had quick heads up or whatnot. Like I'm literally, I'm just on. um, so not scripted. I know that I talked yesterday about, excuse me, um, doing basically crypto stream this morning. So just kind of, trying to follow through. It's a new year, so just try to follow through what we say. I'm kind of glad I did come back out to the daily because it looks like from the last time or the last couple of times that we've come through and looked at this, so still in this candle range from last Thursday or 2 Thursdays ago. So Thursday we pushed in. Yesterday there's your manipulation. We moved up and in, so kind of in here. So if I were to kind of like move this Thursday bias forward, meaning to the right, I would probably move to this candle. And the reasoning behind that, um, just very straightforward and simple. Um, I know, right? I already know. You're like, good lord, he's gonna add more. I'm gonna add this for my visual reference. I'm gonna change that color too. Just gonna make that like black, so it'll really stand out. Oop, there we go. So I'm gonna try to zoom in so you can actually see. So basically, we were already in this candle range. I've literally just identified this candle range because of Thursday's closure back inside and then Friday's continuation. So realistically, this is kind of like an intermediary target. This is obviously a longer term projection and target. But the key is honestly, it's going to be this candle right now. Because if we get a closure back inside, we can see price deliver to either the bullish or the bearish. So let's drop down 1 to 4 hour. Excuse me. And because it is 7:42, we're actually still forming the 7 a.m. candle. So that's going to be our 7 a.m., which is kind of what we look for a reaction off of with Bitcoin. And this is why I say we could see a little back and forth. So this is yesterday's 7 a.m. that pushed in. So this isn't obviously a soup. This is basically a clear. So liquidity purged. That's the 11 a.m. But we also see the 3 p.m. close back inside, and we're seeing a delivery back. So, my initial thought would be treating this like a sweep of liquidity, even though it's not a sweep. We've had a run on buy side liquidity from both of these areas from a 4-hour perspective. So I would probably look at this level as, I don't have it on here, good grief. I'm just gonna make this green. I would look at this as a target, honestly, just because of how much we've displaced. Like basically, the argument could be made, okay, well this candle didn't displace, like we didn't take any buy side liquidity. That is correct. We didn't here, but we did here, right? So this 11 a.m. candle from yesterday cleared out liquidity, and then a closure. This subsequent candle opened, it manipulated, and then it closed back inside. So because we have a closure back inside this candle, I would target this as basically a draw on liquidity. We may not have an entry model though. Let's go to 15 and look. All right, so this would be obvious fair value, but we're not going to look at it from that perspective. We'll look at this as a draw on liquidity, and what I want to do is just go ahead and go down to a 5-minute, and then we'll just we'll kind of do this not so much in reverse, but just go through our annotations as we typically would and see if there's going to be an entry criteria or something that's going to allow us or show us where price will run to potential entry, and then target that sell side. So let's see. So we'll go back to 6. So that's 5. I have to do it this way, so might be boring or whatever, but you know. Trying to pick an odd color so you don't get lost. 30 and here. I'm kind of going to call these out. I'm not going to mark them out. So that's my 6 to 7. So that's the opening range purge here. First manipulation leg at 8:15. Clear below. Okay, so we're coming up on 8 o'clock. So it's going to be Asia. Okay. So we'll probably be looking at some level of bullish price. Because, well, actually, wait. Yeah. because this is still going to be, I'll go ahead and I'll just label that here. Call it 6 p.m. opening range, buy side liquidity. And if I've never mentioned it before, oh, by the way, like this is just what, it's one of the ways that I've always been able, or I've learned to be able to see like what's what, right? That's not what that's called. That's what I call it. I know it's going to be a liquidity level. It's a point of significance. So that is that. I'll label these as well. Call that Asia Sesh. Put that on top. That's London session. And that also on the top. Okay. So basically the story would be, this is your opening range. We purged sell side liquidity. This would have been the first manipulation leg. We had to move back inside. We did not clear the buy side. So this is basically still an unbalanced opening range. It's unbalanced short. So buy side hasn't been taken. We go into Asia session, come out of Asia. There's no run or any kind of manipulation out of session. We go into London session. London purges or clears Asia buy side liquidity, closes down, it clears the sell side. So at this point, we're in London session. London will be, and this is my, again, just I'm talking you through like how and what I look at. So when I look at like the opening range manipulation, it doesn't matter what I label it here. This is just going to be sell side liquidity, right? It's ultimately still going to be, I'm still saying it's one-sided delivery until this buy side gets taken, right? It's still going to be, we're still going to be short in terms of a balanced range from overnight. So I think I have a sell side in here. I don't. Good grief, man. What am I doing with my life? We'll just do that. I could add it, but yeah. So that is sell side. And now, not a whole lot to do. Not a whole lot. Because essentially what we're waiting for now is pre 830 levels. Pre 830 range, buy side, sell side. Excuse me. And then we do it again. We look to see which side gets taken. You look for maybe a closure back inside. You look for market structure and price action to show it's looking to take out the other side. And then once you get an idea that maybe it's swept, say in this case, what would I be looking for? I'd be looking for, as we see here, I'd be looking for a run higher because I'd want to see sell side taken. And then maybe buy side, not so much in the case of a Judas swing. A Judas swing is really going to go back in the very first direction, so I don't want to see that. Or let me take that back. I would be looking for a longer term Judas swing, but the Judas would come based on the 6 p.m. opening range, because we've already had a purge or a clear of sell side liquidity here. So essentially, you'd be looking at a Judas swing from the 6 p.m. open. You'd have this move down, this move back up, and then this move down and through. That would constitute like your Judas swing, right? I'm not looking for that at this point. I'm looking for a move up, a move to clear sell side liquidity. Then when it clears, potentially the buy side liquidity for the pre 830. We already know that we're probably going to have like maybe a move back in at the 930 open. Just, it just depends. And then maybe from there a move up to clear, and then at some point a move back to our target. I don't know, something like that. That would be to kind of build the narrative. That now the raise and the path tool that I'm using, I'm not saying that's exactly how it's going to happen. That's what I'm saying would fit the narrative and would build some confidence in the narrative that we're going to actually deliver to this low or this, draw liquidity as I would have it before we continue long. Now we actually see how that worked out for me yesterday. I was incorrect in terms of the delivery to both 830 buy side and sell side levels. It did deliver to the 830 buy side. That video is actually on this channel, and I did a recap showing and reiterating the fact that the overall idea was sound, but it didn't play out because we did not deliver to that sell side, and then we continued to run long, which inevitably, like I saw, but I was looking for a position short, which I honestly should not have been, but I felt like price was at a point where there was going to be a better buying opportunity than where it actually was, even though, and well, in lieu of the fact that it also took buy side, and yes, it did retrace to some degree on NQ. I just didn't think, based on where it was and what was available in terms of liquidity, that that was going to be an optimal area in which to buy from. So, but nonetheless, it's all good. Let's see what else we've got going on. Always trying to keep my head out of the way. Okay, so 4 minutes before 8. So, so right away, it's probably going to be a little tricky, only because of the volume imbalances. Now you might be asking, okay, I did this one and I did this one. Why am I not doing this one? Because it's gonna encapsulate. Like they're literally. I'll do it back here just so you can see. It's literally right. It's gonna be congruent in terms of the midpoint or consummate encroachment, like the area between this bullish. And even though it's not really this and this one, it's really this one and this one, it's gonna fall within here. So it doesn't make sense for me to just like have three different, it's not gonna matter. Like I can eyeball that and see that it's gonna be close. So there's going to be some balancing. Like the balancing act is going to go on in here. Um, and it may not necessarily be price back and forth. It may be you'll see some, a decent bearish, a decent bullish, and then maybe a little back and forth in price. Um, I don't really want to go back, but yeah, we're just coming into the 8 o'clock hour, so this is going to even be pre 8 o'clock. Like that's a distinctive high, and this is a distinctive low. Um, so yeah. So yeah, not much happening in here. Not much. We could save this, and the likelihood is it's not going to be much. Let's look at Ethereum, just for kicks and giggles. Five-minute Ethereum is a lot cleaner. Look at that. Let's see. Look at the daily. There's going to be some level of similarities between the two. So right away here, do that. So, so Ethereum is going to be a little different. A little bit, not much. Um, okay. So this is a 7 a.m., which is going to be important because those are the 4 hour candles that I use to identify like the who, where, and what. Like where are we going? What may be a draw, what isn't. So and I'm not saying the others do not meet the same 4 hour criteria. They do. It's just a different context for those. So that's not exact, but it'll do for like right now. And then I'll quickly bounce down here and let's do same thing we just did on Bitcoin. I'm gonna do here as well. And in this case, I can already tell you just like eyeballing this, we've already had delivery to both sides for the opening range, which, I don't want to say immediately, but more or less makes this a little bit more of a satisfying opportunity. Let's just say that. I'll make that a black. So 705, you get the open and the clear. And there are a couple of ways. Like some people would say, well, you said 6 to 7, but that's the low before 7. excuse me, you can actually, if you wanted to, you could just start testing right at 7 and see if there's a mitigation there. This is close enough. Like in this case, you can make the argument and back testing and then looking going forward. I always just pick the low or the high like just before 7. And if it's close, you can pick 7 and wait. But yeah, either or is fine. So if you pick it before, you get a Judas swing here. Takes out the low, takes out the high, then comes back. But that means that this is going to be a target in the future, which it inevitably becomes. We've already seen that play out up here. We have manipulation there, and clone that, and then we'll just stick this down here. But here's the thing. So I've already drawn this out. So this was basically the 7 a.m. candle range low. So there's really, because of this being on a 5-minute time frame, it being basically souped or basically a sweep and a closure back inside, we're not really looking for price to come back down here. Doesn't mean it can't. It just means that we're not looking for it. So let's see, 8. So you already know that that is London. 5. Yeah, and then you have like this out of session take. It's 15. 5. Okay, so you have an out of session liquidity point, but you still got sell side here. Technically, you still have sell side here, so we've taken out buy side. I'm gonna leave that designated and marked, but I'm somewhat of a believer that if it happens outside of session, that it's important for the creation and the movement of price from a liquidity standpoint, but it's designed just to set up what the delivery of price is going to do, or what is expected of price, where a composite operator is trying to get price to or get it moved to or what have you. So okay, so it's a 725. So this was a little interesting because we can actually see a delivery back, right? I'd still hold my horses though. It's a nice clear low. 745. Clear high at 755. Yeah, it's kind of like a Mexican standoff at this point. Like nobody's making a move. Yeah, it's just real slow. Well, I think just based in lieu of how price is moving, like just good idea, but price is slow today, and I'm not gonna say to be expected, but this is basically the first Saturday in the new year, and I don't know. I wasn't really expecting like a whole lot, maybe a little bit more than this, but not a whole lot. So I'm not gonna hold you guys. It's been on about 30 minutes. Not really anything overly exciting, but I'll just zoom back out, and then we'll mention again the bias, or my overall bias for Ethereum is that we're reaching for this high. So I'll at least, before we get off, we'll identify that. So that's the level I'm looking for in Ethereum. And then the crazy thing is, actually, even in Bitcoin, we're also looking for Binance. Was it Binance? It was Binance, I think. Yeah? Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Did we do Coinbase? Which one did we do? What did you do? Which one did I pick? Bitstamp. Yeah. So yeah. So in both instances, we're looking for bullish delivery, looking for price up here. All right. So yeah, that's it, guys. I'll wrap, and I don't know, maybe I'll be back on later, and then if not, I'll see you guys next week. Take care.